to part 7 of Tao Tantric Arts for Women, by myself, the book Milk of Divorce. We've been slowly reading extracts and going through on our self-help, self-shelf book, which is read those self-help books that's on the shelf, let me read them to you and give you a little bit of more insight. So as we read extracts. So this is part 6. Continuing where we left off from last time. The body can discharge excess fats, proteins, and impurities. The body will also discharge psychic toxins, imbalances, or suppress emotions during this time. Cooperate with its natural processes by breathing out impurities and excess into the earth. This is something actually with today's workout that we've done. So the mental health, the ancients called menstruation, heavenly water, heaving heavenly, indicating the true chi descending from the heavens, and the water indicating heavenly clouds, generating water. The kidneys store our essence and are represented for our growth. This is the wood and element and spring, which we're actually currently in as I'm reading this. So the kidneys need to be stored strong enough to ensure that there is an abundant supply of blood in the core channel, the sea of blood, to overflow from the uterus. Menstruation marks a healthy purification stage during which the body can discharge excess fats, proteins, and impurities. So it's that releasing, which is why I want to interject here. This is not in the book. This is from my own connection, my own theory here. So please take this or leave it, as with all of the information I share as well. I believe as we move into a more Christic form of energy, we don't need to release that. We're not having as much sense of that, which means there'll be less frequent periods. We will live for longer also, so therefore we won't need to have as many periods. We won't want to have as many children as we'll be living for longer, and those cycles will become longer periods. Excuse the pun, but longer cycles of time and life cycles as well, which will be part of the natural progress of our evolution. That's my belief, basically. So lunar alignments and cycles, as well as short-term, this 28-day cycle, more of us, I feel, are becoming more in tune with the solar cycles, the cosmic cycles that are deeper and longer, that's associated with living longer and longevity and longer periods when we're in a higher state of awareness, and therefore a higher awareness of what we can do with the body. So the lunar alignment cycles that's referred to here, in the past, when we were more in touch with the natural light of the moon, we could receive its effects on ourselves. Now, most of the people I know follow the cycles of the moon and are very in tune with the energy. I feel the energy when it's 2 days prior to the full moon. So I feel that sun hitting the moon and illumination and what comes up, what magnifies with that sense of energy prior to the moon. Some feel it when it's the lunar moon and it hits the earth. Others feel it just after, depending on you. As I say, I get it a couple of days before. The moon, we could receive its effects on ourselves. So we measure that energetically. And city lights, we tend to be distracted from the natural light and less aware of its effects on us. Now, not only do we have things like city lights, we've got Wi-Fi, we've got all of these own energies. And as you become more adept with feeling energy and tuning into your own energy and the subtle energies of your body, which starts here with understanding the cycles, and like when the lunar's there, they would plant because there was more light, and it would be at night time during that time. It's understanding how nature responds to the light, that photosynthesis for the plants, but also that photosynthesis within us, how we respond to that light. We all have that. Need our vitamin D after all. You need to get out and have that. So the ancient Thais considered ovulation to be a powerful time and called the day a woman ovulated, her full moon. When the moon is full, energy naturally ascends in the body during ovulation. About 14 days before menstruation, large amounts of hormones circulate in a woman's body, increasing her emotions and passions and magical powers. So that energy is abundant. Therefore, if she's in tune and in balance, she's able to have that magical essence of intuition, which is why the moon is associated with intuition. During the new moon, which we've got one coming up, the energy of the body is naturally descending. When the woman's menstruations during the new moon, she is influenced by her instinctual center, her sexual organs, which are tied to the moon and natural cycles. When a woman menstruates around full moon, her cycle is influenced more by her electronic center, her brain. Generally, when a woman is more yang, she is menstruating during the full moon. When she is more yin, more drawn, the menstruation during the new moon. These two traditional feminine patterns are known as red moons cycles, when a woman menstruates around the full moon and ovulates at the new moon. And when white moon cycle, when the ovulation's around the full moon and the menstruation at the new moon, the medicine woman, midwives, and wisdom keepers were following the red moon cycle. They channeled their sexual energy into healing and the empowerment of others rather than giving birth to children. So this is touching here on sacred sexuality. The practice of the Temple of Anaya, when it was in its purest form before things were distorted and about what we think of sex, as you like, now, was completely different. It was an understanding of these energies and an understanding of that actually cultivate that energy for healing when it's channeled, because it's that release of energy. It's like putting intention to the climax. So it's that energy just doesn't just go nowhere. It's actually focused, refocused, and channeled into whoever they were with, or whoever for themselves for the healing practice, was how that was done. The white moon cycles represented the fertility power of the earth and the motherly nature of woman and menstruating around this time. Also, it was a coming together of the divine masculine and divine feminine, and it was enacted in that way. But it wasn't in the perversion that it then later became. In the past, many women would go into the red tent together. You might find yourself, and there's actually red tent groups that you can join now, which kind of that coming together of women is celebrated within them, and that's why it's called the red tent. So you might find yourself connecting to a tribal rhythm with women close to you, and they sync, their periods tend to sync. Have you ever consciously shifted your menstruation time? Did it feel empowering? Your moon cycle tends to change with life circumstances and our longing for raising a family or serving a career, creative expression, or spiritual path. So lunar alignment at birth. When, aligning with your innate cycle gets you in touch with your anchor that was imprinted in your body, mind, when you were born. Your lunar alignment at birth is the exact phase of the moon in which you were born. You can find your exact lunar date and percentage of moon phase by entering your birth date and location and hemisphere where you were born in at. They've got stardate.org. I recommend astro.com. There's Vasma, just write free birth chart, Google free birth chart, and you'll get up, and you need to find out when it was, and you can find a little bit of delve in a little bit of information here. How much of the sun's light was the moon reflecting at your first birth? The cosmos is a reflection of spiritual messages to us. What was the particular cosmic charge that you were born with? The moon reflects your emotional karma and what your soul lessons may be. So that's to do with the moon sign. Why did your high self choose this particular astrological imprint and moon phase? The sun moon imprint at birth is akin to micro solar systems in everyone's body. Apparently, your innate ovulation date is the phase of the moon at which you were born. So special attention can be given to the phase of the moon for both contraception and fertility. Premenstrual syndrome, PMS, is a time when the truth or the dark side of the emotional spectrum comes to the surface of the woman's feelings. Often women feel sensitive, irritable, emotional, or sad. It is good to observe if there is a pattern from month to month. Are you irritable because your body would like to rest and you are forcing yourself to keep working? By going into the red tent with friends or by yourself, you can reflect on the emotions that are arising. Here you can ask the emotions what is their message or your spiritual goal for you. There's lots and lots of my videos in the meditation section on Meditation Monday allow you to do that. The Observing and Connect 30-day challenge, which is free on the YouTube channel, is 30 days. Each of those videos are really short, like I think the longest is 15 minutes. That allows you to that space. You can work your way through them. You can just pick one that you like and just repeat that whenever you need it. But it allows you to kind of connect with the breath and observe the thoughts and feelings. I highly recommend doing that if you need to, if you want to understand and connect with the body. Also, last week's Meditation Monday, where we are working with a technique of healing where you connect with the light of your consciousness and talk to your body. So you can utilize this, my members, for that. Here you can ask the emotions what is their message or spiritual goal for you, using journaling and inner smile practice. We spoke about inner smile practice that we do in Qigong, connecting and smiling and lifting the spirits. To embrace these different emotions internally, practice the 6 healing sounds, which are papers over there. Oh, hang on, let me just pause that. So let me run through quickly with them. I do have a video where I go through this and you can follow, and I'll try and pop that in the link below or find that afterwards and add it in the description. So the emotions of 6 healing sounds. So for the lungs, it's and the physical and the emotional. Then kidneys is choo and choo, associated with the kidneys and winter. The liver, which we're in currently, and wood is shh and shh, which is the spring. The heart is the same for the physical and the emotional. Oh. Oh. And the spleen, which is the late summer. Woohoo! Woo! Oh. Ooh. Ooh. And triple warmer is which you like to do last, and sort of filtering through all of those sounds. So just quickly, those are 6 healing sounds that are referred to, and there are videos on this channel where you can do go in and you can work your way through each of those. So so instead of throwing emotional garbage into your environment, which affects those around you, so you can work through those and help release that. So the menstrual cramps are a sign of cold, damp, contracted and stagnant energy. It's coming. Sorry about that, a little break for a cuddle. So menstrual cramps are a sign of cold, damp, contracted and stagnant energy in the lower abdomen. So I don't get cramps anymore, but I do know when I get them, generally for me, it's a sign that there's certain things in my body that are off. That could be that I've had dairy, which is something that I will highlight that. But again, here, it's the stagnant energy. So obviously that is a stagnant energy. It's an energy from an animal, it's a fixed movement, and you take on that energy of that animal in its lifetime. I'm not saying everyone should be vegan like myself. That's my personal choice and an energetical choice on my part. But you need to be aware that everything you consume, be it animal, plant, mineral, you take on board the energy of where it's been, unless you are very highly in a high state of frequency, you're going to take that on board. So that's why for me it shows up in that way. I know that it's in my body. But yeah, lower abdomen, just as you hug yourself and shiver with your cold energy is the lower abdomen, causes contractions and spasms of the muscles. To relieve these contractions, we recommend abdominal massage, which warming oils like sesame and stimulating essential oils like gardenia, I think that's the one, geranium, rosemary and ginger, because they're warming. Traditional hot water bottles in a girl's best friend. So you want to bring the heat. So you bring that love energy. So as a practice, you bring in the heart energy and pushing that down, because we want that warm fire energy of the heart to be around the belly around that time. So sending love there will be helpful. Traditionally, the hot water bottle and heat. We relax the lower abdomen so the blood flows naturally. And obviously that's why we massage. We have massage points that you can do. 2 fingers from the belly button or 4 fingers from the belly button is good for massaging for cramps. And also on your feet, get my foot up here. If you can walk, it's just about to see that. From here, if you walk your thumbs just up, it's not that flexible, but if you walk your thumbs like this motion from your heel, that's the uterus, and then gently press. That's again connected with the feet massage, that you can connect that with the uterus. So postures that are helpful for cramps: open the kidneys and pelvis and encourage deep groin and pelvic breathing. So child's pose, bent over, hands on the knees, for example, or hugging the knees to the chest, or squatting like a frog, being very grounded as well, are all helpful positions, and breathing slowly and deeply whilst winding the kidneys and groins with each inhalation. As you exhale, you internally blow warmth down from the heart, which is what I was saying about melting the excess coldness and the cramps, is what we're energetic. But we're also getting the flow, stimulating that movement. That's why movement is actually great for cramps, because it gets that blood flow moving. Breast massage, ovarian massage, and jade egg practices on a regular basis will relieve menstrual cramps and discomfort, which is why they say if a woman is regularly sexually active, that can help. But obviously it's if she's having that massage and it all done properly. One of the breast massages we've mentioned is hands. You can do this in the shower as a woman, and it's not a sexual thing, guys. So if you're watching this, then it's both hands, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 36 times, one way, then the other, and then hold. So basically you're massaging that breast tissue. Also really great if you, like myself, have a history, or a mother died from breast cancer. So that's something that I have an awareness of, and one of the masters suggests doing to stop that. So you want that regular massage of that tissue. Basic will relieve menstrual cramps and discomfort. Unfortunately, doctors these days are prescribing pills or artificial control menstruation, but with this, they are stopping the natural cycle of life, and young women are not feeling the connection to nature and their bodies. So you need to be able to feel it, to know. You need to be able to listen to your body. If you're just numbing it, masking symptoms basically of what your body is saying to you with anything, then you can't get to the root of the cause and shift that energy. So that's why Qigong is great for longevity, because you're working on an energy, you're always shifting that energy. So hopefully it doesn't get stuck in the first place. But when it does, we look at why it's stuck with traditional medicine, Chinese medicine, and how we can shift that. And then if you have the income with the new, with the Western as well, you balance and have both, you get the best of both worlds then. So where was we? Yeah, diet for reducing painful periods. When women bleed, their bodies are discharging excess fats and proteins, as we said before. It makes sense not to eat excess of these foods just before you menstruate. But you wait until after your period when you crave these foods to build up the blood again. To reduce pain and discomfort during menstruation, eat heavier foods like animal protein. So that's when you can. I can't at all. It's saying animal proteins for 2 weeks after the period. Internal dampness stagnants like a swamp in the lower body and can cause menstrual cramps. So I would say, rather than the animal, you've got healthy fats and saturated fats, so nuts and oils, coconut oils, all of those types of healthy fats, avocados. Latent, damp and stagnant like warm lower body and can cause menstrual cramps. To prevent cramps, avoid eating damp producing foods like dairy, sugar, peanuts and bananas for 2 weeks before. So if you know your flow, you can lessen those and that will make a difference. Avoiding overexertion, avoid straining and compressing during menstruation. Its increased qi flow can increase blood flow. Qi really does actually get the blood flowing. So the breath work gets that movement. We get all of the body moving. So the postures like embracing the tree can be practiced on a structural alignment level. Bone breathing is excellent to restore the blood in the bone marrow. Avoid the fast bellows breathing, which will increase the blood flow, and avoid pulling the energy up the spine at the time, as there is natural flow down to the earth rather than during bleeding time. Pull up the earth energy by pumping with the anal sphere muscles to distract earth energy up the kidneys and the spine. Wait for a few days after menstruation to do the jade eggs. So obviously you want to give it a little bit of a few days from then. So the same for sexual activity. You can become allergic to our sexual energy if it is suppressed. The creative force then becomes self-destructive. Liberating this energy for positive change makes friends with your sexual energy. It's understanding your energy. Anything that's out of balance can be a bit destructive. The body needs the balance of all. So warming up the ovary palace. So this is the channel, smiling, loving energy from your heart into the sexual organs, sending that energy there, and kidneys. Put your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your ovaries, palace, and breathe up internal coldness that can cause cramps. So that's 1 hand on the belly. And so that's this practice that you see energy when they do one on the heart and one on the lower belly. That breathing practice is what you're doing. You're bringing up that cold energy to the heart. And so that's that flow, that's what you're actually doing. The womb wrapping. During menstruation can gently wrap the uterus with qi to heal the inner womb. So more quickly preventing unnecessary loss of blood and qi. So if it's heavy, spiraling the earth energy counterclockwise from the front to the left, penetrating into the vagina and uterus. So you're visualizing this happening with the energy in this practice. And it's also healing practice to do after a miscarriage for like a womb cleansing, womb wrapping you would first do a cleansing of that energy and a clearing of that energy and a releasing of that soul for letting go. And then you would wrap the energy up. So you're putting like a healing balm all on the inside of the uterus. The womb breathing, cooperate with the cleansing, building the re-guttering aspect of the menstruation cycle. So placing the hands in front of your hip bones, feel the breath, okay, here on the hips. Feel the breath and expand like a beach ball into the sexual palace, into the uterus, hips and sacrum. Relax on the exhale and breathe out wounded, dissatisfied, frustration, resentful feelings like cloudy grey smoke. So you imagine that clearing happening. Breathing out impurities, excesses, and suppressed feelings into the earth with acts like a compost pit below you. So as I'm always saying, like the leaves falling off the tree into the ground so the nutrients can then come back up. You do the same thing with the energy. You see that smoke going down and composting in the pit below, transforming the energy into forgiveness and unconditional love. Breathe the golden light. Breathe the golden light and loving, healing energy. So that golden petals falling over you that we're always doing in the meditation, you can do that during the meditations that we've done for the golden silver light, for example. You could do the same and see that imbalance of the mother and the feminine and any losses. Red spinal. During the menses, you can pour some of your physical or energetical blood back into the earth. Now, we spoke about this practice in the last one. I was like, oh, not sure I like the sound of that. I would suggest, knowing that you're recycling and you're upcycling, when you let go, for example, if you use a moon cup, as you tip it away, don't think of it as, oh, yucky, horrible. Thank you, body. This is going back to earth. Thank you for replenishing and going back to the earth for everything. I do the same when I go to the toilet and not think of it in the same horrible way. It's like replenishing. Honouring the earth in this way could be that you use the moon cup, so you're using more recyclable, sustainable things, but whether you do or not is irrelevant, really. You're still, it's that blessing and of what comes out of you as not being just waste. It's replenishing for the earth in all ways. So so you would say this if you were doing it as a ceremony: squat and place the hands in prayer position in front of your heart, rotate the hips, and imagine the red spiral going into the earth. So you're just visualizing this as well in clockwise directions, moving forward and to the right. Pray that your blood essence makes life fertile and abundant. Be grateful for all the lessons and gifts this month has given you. One of the other things, and I just want to relate this back to one of the ancient practices that was obviously looked at in a different term, when they used to sacrifice the animal, there's an understanding that actually if you lick a seed, that saliva imprints on the seed, and when it grows, it's perfectly grows whatever you need for your body. So that would be perfect for whoever saliva that was, not for everyone. So no, don't go around spitting on the ground. But what they used to do is that they would slaughter a cow for this reason, that blood would go into the ground, and that then would allow that for the cow to be, for all of the other cows, be whatever was needed. Now, you don't need to be doing that. And obviously that practice is a bit vile, personally, for me, very triggering. However, it's understanding that there is something to growing and cultivating your own things, and that our own body, when it replenishes the earth, gives back what is needed. So I always feel like my hair is a great way to do this. They say hair is brilliant for plants and growths. You could do it in different ways. Hair from the hairbrush, and that goes into the ground to help with plants that you're cultivating on a really personal, deep level, especially if you're working in spells and ceremonies. And I'm not saying for other people, I'm saying for a plant that you're working with, and for you as a practice. So moving forward, pray that your blood essence or your essence makes life fertile and abundant. Be grateful for all of the lessons and gifts that that month has given you, that's come from the wisdom, because all of that knowledge is in your hair. As we know, you can test for whatever you've eaten and everything is all in there, and you can pop that in. So I would suggest the hair as opposed to blood. I feel that this is more of a distortion of how it is, but certainly the letting go of everything is sacred, every aspect of you, all. It's not the stuff you're releasing, hair that's gone, your blood may cease, and obviously your waste as well. And I'm not saying don't stick that on the bath either. Please don't think that I am. But I'm saying when you release it, when you go to the toilet, when you flush it, be thankful for it. Not like, ugh. We're taught to have disdain for that, for everything in our body. But if you think of everything as being sacred, you see things slightly different perspective is what I invite you to do. Conception and the power to choose. Well, we're on page 44, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to thirdly, I think we'll leave it just at that for this part 7. Until next week. Thank you for joining me on these little segments. The other extracts from this and other books, the Freedom Seeker book I talk about by Beth Kempton, and as well as this, are in the list for Read by Tracer on this page. Thanks for joining me.